Hi, and welcome to the video on systems. This will be more of an introductory video. We will look at each one of the systems in more detail when we go through following chapters, okay? So to help you with this, it's best if you just take a table and summarize with the systems. What are the systems? What word parts are associated with it? What are the main organs and the main functions of each system? So when we look at a system, that is a group of organs working together, and many systems are interrelated and they depend on each other in order to get their job done. So first off is the skeletal system. So when you look at the skeletal system, that's pretty much all the bones. And at this time, you don't need to know the bones. Later on in the course, we'll be enabling bones, but right now you don't need to. The main function of the bone is for support and structure, which kind of makes sense because you think bones are there to keep your ribs are there to keep your organs safe and also to make you stand upright. They protect your organs, such as your cranium, your skull protecting your brain. They provide movement when your muscles contract and pull against bones when you want to move. Things you may not think of is they store a variety of minerals, mainly your calcium and your phosphate. That's why you need to drink your milk and get your calcium. Broccoli is also good for that. Also, excuse me, your bones, your bone marrow is a site of blood cell production, and we'll talk more about that when we get into blood. So when you look at it, the main parts of the system are bones, joints, ligaments, and cartilage. So your bones are the main part. Your joints are the areas where they move. Ligaments hold bone to bone. Tendons hold muscle to bone. And then cartilage is the squishy part in between your bones, on the end of your bones to give you smooth, less friction, and also in places where, like your knees, to shock absorb. That's the skeletal system. The skeletal system has two main parts. You've got your axial system, which is basically your brain and your brain cage and your spinal cord. And then you've got your appendicular, which is all your appendages, including your shoulder girdle and your hip girdle. There's about 206 bones in most bodies. Good. So that's your skeletal system. Your muscular system. Your muscular system has two types of system. You have voluntary, which move consciously, which are your skeletal muscles, and then you have your involuntary muscles, which we talked about, which are your cardiac and your smooth muscles. So when you look at your muscles are mainly there to help you move. So your skeletal muscles will attach to your bone to cause your body to move. And you have involuntary contraction of muscles of your heart to move your blood, and your smooth muscles to move your blood through your veins, and also your veins and arteries, and also your gut. Okay? So again, when we look at the muscle unit, we will name all the muscles, but right now I just want you to realize that the muscle system is made of a lot of muscles. Integumentary system. This is a fancy word for skin, hair, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, which are oil glands, and your fingernails. They protect your body, and they're the first line of defense against any sort of invasion of disease. So when you look at your glands, what do your glands do? They lubricate and waterproof your skin, but unfortunately they can also grow some unwanted bacteria, and that's what makes your sweat stink, actually. Your skin can regulate your body temperature because it has a very good blood supply on it, and we will go more in detail on that in the next unit. And there's also sensory receptors on your skin, so this way you can feel touching. Good. Integumentary system. More than just skin. It's hair, it's bone, it's fingernails. Good. Sweat glands. When we look at the nervous system's job is to send messages and receive messages. So it's going to receive it, it's going to process it, and then it's going to send out a motor message to tell it to do something about it. There are main parts. You got your nerve cells, your spinal cord. There's fluid around your spine to protect it and nourish it. You have your peripheral nerves, which leave your spinal cord and go out to your body. Then you have your brain. You also have your eyes, nose, tongue, and your sense organs. Okay, we'll go into a lot more detail later as we go through each. This is just an introduction. The endocrine system is mainly hormones, but realize hormones do more than just regulate your sexual functions. Hormones are your your chemical messengers throughout the body. They act as a control center for all organs. And your endocrine glands release hormones into the blood, and then they will act somewhere else. They will regulate fluid, electrolyte balance. They can cope with stress, trauma. The main part, and we'll get into this a little more in the endocrine system, is the hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal, pancreas, and your gonads, which are your sex organs. So here are all the glands here. Become familiar with them. In the next unit, we'll go into more detail. Cardiovascular is your heart and blood vessels. So the main idea of your main function between your cardiovascular is to transport your system to every single cell of your body. So it's transporting water and nutrients and oxygen, and it's also removing waste. The main parts are your heart, your arteries, your veins, your capillaries, and your blood, and we'll go into more detail on that in the cardiovascular system unit. Okay, there's a lovely picture. At this time, you don't need to know much difference of them, other than maybe arteries carry blood away and veins carry towards, and capillaries are the little ones. Good. Your respiratory system. Respiratory has to do with breathing. So the whole idea of your respiratory system is to collect fresh oxygen and deliver it to your blood cells and to remove carbon dioxide from your lungs. Your nose also filters, warms, and moistens the air when you breathe in. And it helps balance acid-base balance, which you may never thought about in your blood, because if you have too much acid in your blood, you will change your breathing. The main parts are your pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchial tubes, and we'll go into more detail of what those are later. But basically, they're just the passages down to your lungs. The lymphatic system is a system we don't talk about very much, or you may not heard about, other than you may have heard the term lymph nodes. They help maintain proper fluid balance, and they collect extra fluid. They also protect the body from infection, and they produce specialized white blood cells called lymphocytes, which help to capture foreign invaders. The main part are lymph vessels, lymph ducts, lymph nodes, and the thymus gland, also your tonsils and your spleen. And again, we have a whole other unit on that. There's the picture there. The digestive system. The digestive system's main job is to break down food both mechanically by churning and chewing, and chemically by the use of enzymes to break it down. Then it gets small enough to absorb into and transport it into your blood system, which will then take it to your cells. It also can transport unused material out of your body, which is poop. Good. Your main part is your mouth, your pharynx, your esophagus, your stomach, your intestine, your accessory organs, which is your liver and pancreas. We'll talk about that. And then your anal canal, which is your rectum. Almost killed him. There are your parts, so you can become familiar with them now. More detail in the digestive unit. Urinary system. This is not just peeing, but also cleaning the blood in order to pee. Think of the urinary system. Its job is not to form urine, but to regulate the body, and urine is the result of it. So in the process, you are regulating your water. When you regulate your water, you regulate blood pressure, you regulate the production of red blood cells, electrolyte balance such as sodium, potassium, and calcium, and also a slower way to regulate your acid-base balance. Main parts: kidney, ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. There they are. Good. Reproductive system. Reproductive system is to make new humans, and then we're going to focus mainly on making babies, even though there's a lot to do with the reproductive system. The main parts in the female are ovaries, which the eggs, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, and the main part is your for men, the testes, the penis, and the urethra. And again, we'll go into more detail on that later. So that is a quick overview of the systems. Make sure you know the main parts, the functions, and also the words associated with it. Enjoy and happy learning.